What is up, Waffle Gang? I do hope you're well. My name is Mark, and today we're covering some more, you guessed it, r/am I the butthole. If you'd like to skip the initial waffle, timestamps are in the description and along the timeline below. But if you are new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too, as it all really helps out our channel. Yesterday we had a new member. We had Abigail Hornibrook. Thank you so much for your support. It's absolutely amazing of you to do so. And I know I don't say it enough, but thank you to all the rejoins and the people constantly supporting the channel. Some of you have been here for 7 months. 7 months, that's absolutely crazy. And I just can't tell you how thankful I am to you for doing what you do. And to everyone for taking the times out of your day to come here and support the channel and show your love. It's absolutely amazing. So thank you so much. And with that being said, let's get on with today's stories. Much love, guys. Now, our first story comes from a throwaway account. Am I the arsehole for wanting to sue my fiance's sister after she damaged my prosthetic arm? My male 28 fiance's female 29 sister recently moved in with us after she divorced her ex-husband. She's been staying with us for over a month now. First, I didn't mind helping her out till she figures out what she should do with her life going forward. I work and pay for almost everything despite having a disability. A horrific accident that caused me to have my arm amputated, and using a prosthetic arm that I saved for some time to be able to get and also be able to function properly. It cost me $12,000 and it's my third. I'm still trying to pay off some debts from getting it. Fiance's sister would regularly move stuff from its original place, claiming she's cleaning or organising furniture. Every time she'd end up causing damage. My fiance would just say she didn't mean it and the matter is resolved, no problem. I didn't want to say anything, but it got to the point where she's allowed to access my bedroom to clean up even though no one asked her. I've noticed that her sister has been doing this as a way to show that she's already a resident in this apartment and gets to do whatever. I'd come home feeling tired, so I didn't discuss her behaviour any longer. Last week she was cleaning. The whole apartment was upside down and heavy furniture was being moved from one corner to another. I was in the shower and left my prostheses on the coffee table since I had to lock my bedroom before going to the shower. I heard some noise, and after I got out I discovered she was moving the wooden couch, and it got out of her control and shattered the glass coffee table, causing damage to my prosthetic arm from the upper part. I didn't discover this till I took a closer look. I was really mad. I sat there feeling helpless. I did yell at her for being reckless and causing damage to my prostheses, and the first thing she did was call my fiance to tell her to talk to me. She even refused to talk to me in person and let my fiance handle the situation. I was so mad after my fiance tried to make excuses, saying she didn't mean it and expected me to let it go. I've already tried to wear it, but it wasn't as it used to be. It no longer functioned properly. I felt so much anger. I told my fiance that her sister needed to get ready to pay for a new one, but she lashed out at me, calling me ridiculous. I told her I'd sue her sister if it came to that, and after this argument, her sister left the apartment. My fiance seemed to only be bothered because her sister's feelings were hurt after I said I'd sue her for the damage she caused, not to mention the furniture. My fiance isn't talking to me and saying I'm being harsh and unfair in treating her and her sister like this. The reason I said I wanted to resort to suing her sister is that my fiance refused to even see that her sister did anything wrong. She wouldn't even expect me to discuss it, which is not okay. I'm stunned that she thought this was nothing when it's very important to me. I'm hurt more than her sister, both physically and emotionally, and yet she thinks I went too far. In the first part of the story, when it talks about like the sister doing cleaning and stuff like that, and OP mentioned like that it was almost like they were trying to be a living resident, trying to get some sort of control in the apartment. I kind of thought maybe she's just trying to like, maybe she just feels guilty that she's sort of like mooching a bit, so she wanted to give something back to the apartment and clean. So I was giving her a little bit of a leeway in that respect, in my mind anyway. But then when she actually broke it and then wouldn't talk to you about it and got the sister to deal with it. But I think your fiance is the even bigger arsehole in this situation. She's enabling that behaviour, allowing her to get away with it and thinking it's okay. And she obviously knows she can get away with it. The way she turned it, she contacted her sister first and told her to basically deal with this situation. She knew she was going to be backed up by her. And I know it's hard, she's gone through a divorce and all this sort of thing, and she's probably a bit mentally scarred from that maybe. I'm just reaching on that one, but I don't know. But that's still not an excuse for what she did, and she needs to own up to it. I would be absolutely mortified if I damaged someone's prosthetic arm or someone's prosthetic like that. I feel absolutely terrible and would absolutely want to pay it back too. But let's have a look at some of the comments below to see what they say. Throwaway says, not the arsehole, your fiancé is enabling her sister's behaviour and you have every reason to sue her for property damage. How your fiancé hasn't backed you up on this is a wonder to me. Make sure you still have the receipt for the arm and maybe pictures of the other damages, so if it does come to suing, you'll have the proof you need. OP replied, no, she didn't back me up at all. She knows how important this prosthesis is to me. I can't do things properly without it, and I'm still paying back the money I used to get it. It's just an awful situation, and I'm mostly hurt by my fiance's lack of consideration and empathy for what I'm dealing with. I'm struggling and she's worried about her sister's feelings. Big Fat Joint says, not the arsehole, the fact that your sister whined for your fiancé rather than apologising profusely to you says a lot about her level of respect for you. I hope your fiancé snaps out of it because the situation is not fair to you. And OP replies again saying, she thinks I'm being unfair to her sister, but she completely ignored the fact that I'm now having to deal with my inability to do things the way I used to. My job is exhausting and there's no way for me to pay for a new one on my own. And Luna Strange says, not the arsehole, sue her. Her insurance will probably cover a portion, but that is inexcusable. Your fiancé defended her. That's also a red flag. Kick the sister out for sure. She is no longer welcome in your home. Luna Strange mentioning sort of insurance. Does everyone in the US carry some sort of liability insurance or something? Because I don't think it's something we do in the UK. I certainly don't. Anyway, am I missing something here? I'm starting to get a bit worried. Anyway, I turn this one to you guys. What do you guys think of this situation? What should OP do? Should OP sue them and potentially jeopardize his marriage, or is the fiance already done that? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 1. And our next story is from Chai Teamed. Am I the arsehole for moving out because my husband bought a PS5? For some background, we are both 25 and live in the Bay Area, where the rent is exorbitantly high. I'm a medical school student and he's a guitar center manager. Prior to losing my job in May, I'd been working an office job to make ends meet. I haven't been too serious about looking for a new one because it was near impossible to juggle working and studying full time and shadowing a doctor during a global pandemic. Losing most of our income meant losing our apartment, and we moved in with his grandma. I was making more than him, so I hadn't experienced the extent of his irresponsible financial habits, but I knew he was a bit of a slacker / obsessive gamer. I'm making hardly anything on unemployment plus my freelance photography, but still have had to try and save because he wasn't, and use my cash for our expenses. I had many talks with him about this, literally weekly, about his spending and how we both feel like we need to move out because we can't take living with this overbearing grandma, who demands I cook and clean for her. He buys whatever he sees online that he feels drawn to, as if he makes upper six figures and can afford it. I've gotten upset every time and tried to have a sit down discussion, but he says, I'll save, I'll grow up, I'll stop wasting money, you're right. Of course, it never changes. 2 nights ago, I come home and he tells me he bought a PS5. I check the savings that I put the money into and there was only $50 left. Admittedly, I freaked out a lot and left to my sisters and have been there since. His mum has called, his grandma has called, he has called, even traditional Indian parents have called me to say that I have to go back to him and stop flipping out that he spent money on something to make him happy. I told him that I had set boundaries about his habits and mentioned moving out because I cannot be responsible for him if he won't try as well, which he knows I've brought up many times as an ultimatum. So I don't want to live with him until he has saved enough of his half for us to get a newer, cheaper apartment, which we could definitely afford together if he didn't spend his money. I feel ignored and undervalued. Everybody says I'm in the wrong here, but I really don't know if I should apologise or hold my ground. I hate making him sad, but the living situation was overwhelming and making me miserable. And there is a mini edit update on this one as well, which we'll cover in a second, but we'll have a look at some of the comments first to see what they say. No Communication 569 says, leave him now. If you don't do this, this is how your life will be. This is no longer a discussion. He isn't putting your feelings, your collective financial needs, or your future seriously. This is a pandemic and he's still living in his grandma's house. He's dragging his mummy into your arguments, and as a medical student, you have to cook and clean for his grandma. Does it even help? You're 25. This is only going to get worse. He's literally dragging you down. Leave, not the arsehole. And OP replies saying he does not help, except the one chore he has, which is vacuuming. One of those things where if the wife doesn't do it, it never gets done. It's been a long process to unlearn the misogynistic roles of my culture, but these comments are all a serious eye-opener. Beagle Mama says, not the arsehole, please close any joint accounts with him and keep your finances separate ASAP. Stay with your sister. You're not in the wrong. They are. Your happiness matters too. And Misbehave says, not the arsehole. He spent your money without permission. How could you be an arsehole for being mad about that? And OP replies saying he keeps trying to play it off as something for us that we can play together. He knows how much I hate how excluded I feel from his one hobby, which is gaming. But I don't know any other med students with the time to game like that. Dwight says, not the arsehole, money is tight, so it was firstly selfish of him to buy it, and even more to drain your joint savings. For your information, there's horror stories from joint accounts. If one party is bad with money, don't even think of one because that money is legally his and yours. And OP replied once again, serious, thanks for the advice. Coming from an ultra-traditional Indian family, it never even occurred to me to initially keep my finances separate from my husband's, and now I definitely will be closing the joint savings account. Now we're going to head straight to the update. Edit. Thanks to all for the replies. I hadn't thought too hard about its responsibility and how it would impact our future family. I cannot have children due to a hysterectomy at 17, so it's very difficult to think about my future plans in a family context. But this has all made me think about it anew. I called him and we'll sit down tomorrow to discuss him getting some serious professional health for his impulsive addictive behaviours and couples counselling, and he has agreed to give me the PS5 to sell so I can take the cash. I'm closing the joint account. Found someone in my area to buy the console. Thanks for all the offers. And since I've gotten 5 chats of people telling me to just leave the Bay Area if it's so pricey because I'm a gentrifier. I don't even know what that is. I was born in San Francisco and I'm back here for grad school, so please save your breath. Not sure why it's necessary. Now, put yourself in OP's shoes. What would you do in that position if you was trying to save for an apartment and your other half went and was spending stupid amounts of money on stuff like a PS5 or say a new TV or anything like that? How would you deal with a situation? And it was a joint account and they were using your money, your savings to buy these things. How would you deal with it? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 2. And our next story is from Zalinus. Am I the arsehole for cancelling a date when I was told I had to pay my half? This guy constantly asks me out on dates. Can I take a pretty girl like you out on a date? I've only met him once and I thought he was alright. I finally had some time off, so when he asked me again, I finally said sure. We set up a date and time. 2 days before the date, he messaged me the general prices for the restaurant and asks if I'll be able to afford it. I said possibly. I had to go grocery shopping so I'd find out how much I have left afterwards. I believe in going Dutch, and I'm not the type of person who thinks a man should always pay. But I was kind of offended because normally when a guy says, I want to take you out, it usually means he will pay. Especially if he was so persistent in asking you out. I ended up cancelling the date because I didn't have enough money after groceries, but also because I did not want to go out with him if I was going to pay for myself. Something about it just rubbed me the wrong way. Am I the arsehole? Edit. Okay, some more details. When I said I believe in going Dutch, I guess I meant to say when it's been established. When asking me out, he would always say things like, is my haircut good enough to take you out on a date? Can I take a pretty girl like you out on a date? So I assumed he was treating. I was interested in him, but due to my job and COVID, I've been working constantly because of the amount of work I have. All I want to do is rest when I get home. We had made plans for a date a week in advance, the time, date, the restaurant. At no point did he mention splitting the bill. If he did, I would have been cool with it and set some money aside. He didn't say anything until 2 days before the date, and I already set a budget for grocery shopping that day, and I really didn't want to take the money out of my grocery budget. Now, I think this one's going to go from not the arsehole to a no one's the arsehole here, which is a very rare one, I must say. And putting myself in that guy's shoes, and if I asked someone out on a date like that and I said, can I take you out on a date? I would assume I would be the one paying. Whereas I said, do you want to go out and eat together or something like that and use language like that, then it would assume that we're both paying. So I think it's the language that was used in this post. Maybe it was a mistake on his part, but he did check up later on as well. So I'm not going to totally bash the guy. He might have been at home after and thought, shit, yeah, I've messed up with my language. I best send her a price list to confirm that we are both paying. And then obviously you have the choice to then say, no, I can't afford it at the moment. You know, which I think is both totally viable. So I'd say no one's the arsehole in that situation if I put it in that perspective. But let's have a look at some of the comments below to see what they say. Borderline Ginger says not the arsehole. Big difference between can I take you out, asker pays, versus can we go out to eat, Dutch. Wasted Goblin says no one's an arsehole here. It's okay for him to be upfront with you about wanting to split the bill, and it's okay for you to not want to go out because you can't afford it. Seems weird that if he was so keen to go out with you, he would suggest a cheaper date option. Nano Cola says, not the arsehole. Asking someone to take them out does imply they're going to treat, and he was insistent. He wants your time and presence, phrased the proposition poorly, and then asked you if you could afford to pay yourself. Sounds like a dick, to be honest. Swamp Milkweed says, not the arsehole. I think he was very awkward about this. He kept pestering you for a date, but then he says, oh, by the way, can you afford it? You could have mutually decided together where to go at the time, and he could have said, by the way, is it okay if we go Dutch? It rubbed you the wrong way because you had a certain expectation, and then you weren't given the choice about paying. You were basically told, I want to go out with you, but I don't want to pay for you. And Ebernal says, not the arsehole, smart move. If I'm inviting you out on a date, it's on me. If I say we should meet for dinner, it's Dutch. Now, I turn this one to you guys. What would you do in that situation if someone invited you out on a date and they used that language, but then later on said, oh, can you pay your half? Would you be offended by that, or would you be like, yeah, that's still cool? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 3. And our next story is from apparently the bad guy. Am I the arsehole for not going to my daughter's birthday after promising to because of this? I was in a relationship with this woman and we had a girl, Casey, together. Trying to keep this as relevant and short as possible. Found out that she's not my biological child. Broke up with Lady, but though it wasn't the same, I still kept contact with Casey and tried being there, but not that actively. Months ago she asked whether or not I'd still be coming to her 13th birthday, given everything, and I said yes. And we discussed taking her for the weekend after. Well, that was before her darling of a mother came after me for child support, which is something I drastically underestimated and didn't want to happen because the law proved to be quite a bitch. Trying to sort that out, but it's not looking promising. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. The point is that I've actually become pretty demotivated with the relationship we had before because mum's always going to be there and I prefer to cut that off as much as I can, which sucks because Casey's a great kid. They're just more bad than good. As soon as I got a reminder for her birthday, I called her and told her that I was sorry but couldn't go anymore to her birthday next Friday, nor that weekend thing, and I wished her early. She obviously wasn't merry, but it didn't sound like she was going to break down. Some friends think I'm being a complete arsehole to her and should at least end it by going to her birthday, which is dramatic as fuck in my opinion, and would make the day all depressing. So now they're all bashing me, which is royally pissing me off, but just to check, am I the arsehole? So if it's her 13th birthday coming up, we can assume Casey's been in OP's life for all that time. And because he almost sounds like disconnected from her, like he can just up and leave and think, nah, you're not my child, so I can just leave now. But you must have had this connection all this time, and I can't imagine you just getting up and leaving that poor kid after this. I mean, it's an incredibly shitty situation to find out that, and it must damage you so much psychologically because what the mother has done. Obviously, the mother is a huge arsehole in this situation for what she's done. But I think OP needs to remember that the innocent part is the child. They know no different. They know you as their father. And you just cutting all contact now, oh man, I'm tearing up just thinking about it. Would break that girl's heart. I'm not going to hate on OP because I can't imagine what they'd be going through. To find that out after all these years, that the person you loved, mother I'm talking about here, cheated on you all those years back and you've been raising a child that is not biologically yours. That must absolutely tear you apart. And I couldn't imagine how I'd be feeling in OP's shoes right now. So it is incredibly difficult to judge how you would actually act in this situation. I'd like to say, if I was in that position, that I would love this child just the same because I raised him for 12 years. And although not biological, I love that child more than anything, sort of thing. Because, you know, they are my kid, I raised them. But then you go back into the mindset of OP and you think, bloody hell, what must he be going through mentally right now? Wow. Let's read some of the comments to see what they say. Coco Butts Go Nuts says, you're the arsehole. I never understand how men can raise a child for years and have so little attachment to the kid just because they aren't related to them. They completely walk out without a second thought. Yeah, the mother sucks for cheating and lying to you, but the daughter did nothing, and taking out your anger on her for having to pay child support is shitty. You're still her dad. She just got her genes from someone else. Human Guinea Pig says, everyone sucks but Casey. The mum sucks for chasing you for child support when you're not the biological father. I understand why you feel the need to get away from the situation. In fact, in some cases, having an active role in the kid's life can make you more reliable for child support, so stepping back looks better from a lawyer's point of view. But it sucks that Casey is the one suffering here, as she's losing someone she thinks of as her dad. If she were a little older, I'd say talk it out with her, but 13 is a bit young to understand what's going on. It's a rough situation all around. Really, it's the mother's fault here, because if she chased the actual bio dad for support instead of you, then you'd probably feel more comfortable taking on an uncle-like role. Cult Queen says not the arsehole, that child is innocent, but her mother created a hostile environment. She damages her own child with her cheating ways, and is now blaming you. You're adjusting to your new reality, and it's sad to say that the child is the ultimate victim, but so are you. It would be different if you knew all along she wasn't your biological child, but they sprung this on you, and you need time to heal. And instead of allowing you to heal, she is making you pay for her bad decisions, as if she didn't create this mess. You didn't sign up for this, and to be financially punished for a decision her mother made is something that a child can't help, but you can't help how betrayed you feel either. I would go to therapy. Now, how would you deal with this situation if you was OP? I can sort of understand where he's coming from, but I also feel so bad for the child at the same time. I'm really conflicted on this one. But what would you do in this situation? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 4. Once again, guys, thank you for the amazing amount of support you give to this channel. It is absolutely amazing of you. Like I keep saying, I will give an update on my dad soon. It's been a wild couple of days back and forth from hospital with him, lung drains and all sorts going on right now. So I'm on the catch up with work and YouTube and everything. So I'm trying my best here. Stay with me, guys. Stay with me. And if you didn't know, we should be going part-time YouTube around Christmas time. So yes, that's a very exciting news as well that's going on. And if you want to support the channel, which as I just said is very important if you can right now, but obviously no pressure to do so. Never any pressure, never put yourself in any financial strain for me. But you can support either through Patreon, which a link is down in the description below, or on YouTube by clicking that join button down below. And we're doing a members only video every Saturday, just for you guys to just, you know, a little thank you. I know it's not very much, but it's a thank you anyway. But a huge thank you to each and every one of you for being here today. I really appreciate you, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Much love. Have a great day.